showed up.
Apparently. Okay, so can you restart it on re-log in on yours and see if that works?
And seems to be. Come walk back over here to the camera.
Well, this is the tricky part. I forgot. Like, I need to... This is the one tricky thing with this, is I can't see what I'm doing unless I change this or, like, connect over here. Are you connected, though?
Yeah.
And you can see that camera?
Yes.
Okay. Weird. But that's fine. Yeah, this needs to be, like...
Mom's okay for apples? Yes. One.
What is it?
Food snack. Oh, here, do you want some help?
I think I can see.
Yeah, that's what I can see.
Yeah, I just wanted to... I don't know. I'm trying to make it so that I can see...
Yeah.
Like, if somebody... No, what the hell just happened?
Oh, it just minimized because you have it in the corner.
Weird. Okay. Oh, whatever.
Can
Okay.
you still see the chat okay?
Huh?
Can you still see the chat okay?
I don't know. We'll see.
We lose everybody?
Yeah, because it was off for a while.
Yeah.
We'll see if anybody comes back on. You can hide the view count. Like, it's so weird that you can't see. Chat settings. Show timestamp. Oh yeah. Show mod icons, please.
Those are all just the mod settings, yeah?
Well,
I
this
think
is all
if
the
you
chat
click
settings.
on the two...
No, that just hides it or shows it.
Go in the settings? Or the little... Yeah.
That's where it just was.
Oh. Go to the non-mod settings?
Huh?
If you go to the non-mod settings...
Switch to non-mod?
Yeah.
I can pop out the chat.
It's usually not as helpful.
Well, if I can make it bigger, that's what I was hoping for. But...
That tells you who's here.
Oh. That's interesting. So, like, because it only says there's only 2 people, but it says there's, like, all these people in the chat. I guess there's more people can be in the... You can be in the chat but not be watching the stream.
It's possible.
I mean, that's cool. Like, you could have multiple chat windows, I guess, and chat with multiple streams, but only be, like, not... and because you can only watch one at a time, obviously. But you can chat with multiple people. That's cool. I mean, I dig that. Okay, cool. Can I dock this back in now? Because I don't want it... But see, like, I can't... That button doesn't exist when it's not docked. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, if I close this, does it automatically pop back in here? Yeah. Oh, there we go. Cool. But see, well, that still doesn't help, because what I was looking for was to see who was actually watching.
I don't think...
But you can't, because the watching and the chat users are different, or separate. So that's fine. I was just trying to figure out if I could see that at all. But apparently that is not an option. And that's fine. Oh, this is going to be much more difficult.
Because you're closer?
Well, no, because, like, with my phone, at least, I'm looking at the camera and the chat at the same time, you know?
Oh.
And see, like, you're seeing exactly what you're seeing, but, like, now I'm looking to see what I'm seeing over here. and not looking. It's like if I look at the camera, I don't see the chat or the.
I'm trying to get this. Oh, you've got it all clipped, so it won't.
What? The clips aren't doing anything.
Okay.
No, it's fine. It's good. It's all good.
We could move it back this way so that it's sitting back
Oh,
here.
yeah. Well, yeah. From the...
Yeah.
Could do that. We are moving the arm.
SMRT. Woo!
Well, we'll see if this was a good idea or not.
IR.
I mean...
SMRT.
Well... If we were really smart, instead of moving the camera back, what we would do is we would move this stuff out of the way and move the computer closer.
That requires forethought.
Yeah, you know, it's a work in progress, just like everything in life. Work in progress. All right, so I'm gonna move all the. I'm just gonna basically move all this stuff over here. Oh, how much slack do I have?
See,
on this
that's
camera?
the thing. You don't have a ton of slack there. You have some.
Yeah.
Not enough, I don't think.
I think there's enough to just move it.
That's about where I would leave it.
Okay, so that gives me that much slack, which I think is good. You weren't actually listening to the audio. The other thing that I wanted to see is how the audio sounds.
The audio is great.
How do you know?
Oh, well, on your phone it was wonderful.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't know how the audio is now that I've switched.
I need to go inside to listen to you because
yes, because we don't want to feedback
turn my
everybody.
phone the whole way up to hear you, unless I'm connected to an outside speaker source.
Well, let's see what it sounds like then with this, because that might be different now. Okay. Yeah, of course. Everything is in the way. Okay. Everything is always being rearranged all the time, every day, all the time. Can you guys see this? Oh, so this is kind of cool. I'll do a little piece of shop tour. So this is an IV stand. It has wheels. You can roll it around. And on top of it is mounted a junction box and with an outlet. And on top of that is mounted a work light. The work light can plug in to here. You will also see that coming out of the junction box is this big long extension cord, which then plugs into the wall over there. And hanging from the IV stand are Dremels. Very convenient because we pretty much always use them with these guys. So having those just hanging there is nice and it's mobile. And then strapped to that is a power strip, surge protector, that is plugged in up here that we can plug stuff into and roll it around. Cool. So this is like mostly our Dremel stand, but it's a really cool way to have a mobile power station in the garage, because especially in here, we only have, in this garage, we have one outlet over there that we have to run everything through. And so, yeah, it's challenging. But, so this helps a lot with that. It also means we can only do a certain amount of things at a time, or we'll blow the circuit. But what I was actually doing is I'm cleaning this space up. We have this little magnet up here, since this is the Dremel thing, and we just stick our most commonly used Dremel-y stuff to the rare earth magnet that's stuck up there. And then that's always right there, like the ones that we switch out frequently are all handy dandy. Lightsaber. This is an empty hilt though. Nothing in it. I made a laser sword for somebody a couple years ago. A laser sword, not a lightsaber. It's the laser sword from... Blah. Oh my goodness. It's Kirito's sword from Sword Art Online. And so it's basically a lightsaber. But I so I custom made the hilt, and I was like, well, okay, so I need a blade, and it has a purple blade, and electronics and everything. And I was like, okay, so I priced, like I went and I've never made a lightsaber before, so I priced everything out, like to get all the parts and everything, like the recommended parts to like build everything in there myself. And if anybody's tried to do this, it can get kind of pricey. And so, but then I realized, but instead, I think this was from Ultra Sabers. They sometimes will do like grab bag, like random lightsabers, like old stuff they're trying to get rid of. And depending on how much stuff you want to specify versus just get random, increases the cost, right? So I think, so like the only thing I cared about was that it was purple. Other than that, I didn't care because I was going to rip everything out and put it in the hilt that I made anyway. And so I think it was on sale. They were having like a sale. So it was like $70. I was like, purple blade, I don't care about anything else. And so I got this, which is I think it's nice. I haven't used it for anything. At some point I want to put electronics in here and make it an actual lightsaber. But yeah, so I literally just gutted it and put everything in there, and it cost me half as much if I had bought all the parts separately and built it from scratch. And so it was half as much and a way less work because everything was already, all the parts already worked together. So all I had to do was I had to cut a bunch of wires and then resolder them together, but like I had it all built already, so I didn't have to figure out if I needed resistors or any of that crap because it gets really complicated. I suck at the electronic stuff, so I don't ever do any electronic stuff if I can help it. Or very minimal electronic stuff, or I get somebody else to help me. I don't know why. It's one of those things that like I feel like I should be good at it, but for some reason, I don't know. You ever have those things where like it's something that you're like your brain just doesn't want to like to work with for some reason, and you're like, "Come on, brain! I know you can do this," and your brain's like, "Nah, I'm not doing it." Yeah, I don't know what it is, but for some reason, let's see. I'm gonna move this. Sneak peek number 2. Move this over here, out of the way. And then, okay, move that over there. But yeah, Hudson, the other patch that I'm gonna make that isn't the one that we're gonna sell is I'm gonna make a BLM patch that can put on costumes or whatever. But I was gonna do it to put on my cap suit. It's funny because I was actually I don't know if you know Ryan from Portland, but he was like, "Hey, do you know anybody who makes patches? Because I really don't feel like I'm not feeling wearing cap again without making a change." And I was thinking about like trying to find or get like a Black Lives Matter patch to put on the other sleeve, like because it has like the Avengers on the one. And I was like, I don't, but that's an awesome idea. And coincidentally, we are about to start making patches. So I was like, once I get this figured out and nailed down, I will do a design for that, digitize it, and I will make you one, and I will make myself one. And then I was like, you know what? I'll make a handful of them, and I think what we're going to do is basically we'll do like a run of them and say like, hey, we have 10 of these patches, and the first 10 people that show us that they donated to one of the related charities, either either directly to Black Lives Matter or one of the bail charities or any of the other ones, then we'll send you a free patch. So again, since we can't do a lot ourselves necessarily, whatever we can to encourage other people to, and just however we can give back to the community with the means that we do have. But yeah, I will give you one of those, assuming you want one. I don't want to force it on you, but and also speaking of, since I mentioned Chop earlier, the pictures you took down there are pretty awesome, man. Before everything ended, I was talking about that guy. So this guy, right? He's proud redneck Confederate flag wearing dude, and we're arguing, and I was getting so mad at this guy, and he's yelling at everybody, and he's yelling at me, and everyone's yelling at him, and he said something, I don't know what it was, but like it just made me think like, okay, he's obviously getting fed all this propaganda bullshit about what's going on, and he lives in like Eastern Washington, right? Of course. And it's clear that he's being, he's seeing all the bullshit, and I don't know, something that he said just made me think like maybe I can get him to listen. And so it was like the day after I think The Stranger had put out an article that kind of like explained what was going on in Chaz, and had a lot of pictures and blah, whatever. And I was like, okay, listen, dude. I was like, do me a favor, like, please take a deep breath and go read this article. And I sent it to him. I posted the link, and I was like, if he says no, then I'm gonna block him and move on with my life and whatever. So I said, please read this, and I sent the link, and he responded. He's like, okay, I'll go read it. I was like, okay, cool. I don't know if it'll make any difference, but hey, it's worth a shot. And like 5 minutes later, he comments again. He's like, hey, can you send me a DM? I want to talk to you. So I was like, okay, this is going to be fun. But so I sent him a message, and we ended up talking for like 30 more minutes. And, he was seeing all the shit that we have seen, all the BS propaganda stuff about Chop is all Antifa thugs and BLM is a hate group and all this shit. And I'm like, I just sent him a bunch of evidence, and like, I'm like, look, these are people I know that are on the ground. Like, here's video and pictures and the stuff that people are actually seeing. The shit that you sent me that is the stuff that you think is going on, those aren't even pictures or video that are from Seattle, and so I basically, it took me like, I spent 2 hours that night basically talking to this guy, and at the end of it, he was like, hey, you know what, I was wrong, like, thank you for sharing this stuff with me and like help me out, like, I don't know if he went back and told anybody else or talked to anybody or changed any minds. I don't know if his mind went back to where it was. But, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. Just going back to like, I know a lot of times it's feels worthless and fruitless and pointless to try to talk to people or to try to make a difference or change people's minds. And man, sometimes it is. I will tell you, I have blocked one of my sisters from Facebook. One of my other sisters is this close. Like one of my sisters is like, and I don't even know, like, I'm like, I don't know what happened to you. She just like, like there's a certain point where it's like, okay, I've expended as much energy as I can on trying to educate you and getting you to see the truth, and you clearly want to stay ignorant about what's going on. And especially when it comes to like my family members and stuff, like I said, like all this stuff that I've, all of the stuff that's related to the protests and everything that's going on, I do publicly. But like when it comes to like posting stuff on my kids, that's all private. And like at the very end of it, when it comes to my family, I'm like, if you can sit here when I tell you, when I post something about Black Lives Matter or anti-racism or police violence, if you can sit here and tell me all lives matter or bring up black on black crime or any of the other bullshit you're going to throw at me, no matter how many times I tell you to stop, you do not deserve any access to my daughter. Like, aside, everything else aside, like that's where I finally have been like drawing the line. Like, if that's how you feel, you don't care about my family. And I don't care if you're my sister. That's it. I'm done. If you feel that way, then either you also feel that way about my daughter, or you're making an exception for my daughter, which is possibly even worse. And like my sister, the sister that I finally blocked, she's a school teacher, and I muted her for a long time, for a while before this happened, because like a couple of months ago she posted some shit about like Texas was talking about like bringing corporal punishment back to schools, and like her and her teacher friends were resharing it and like, yeah, like that'll stop all the flow of kids going to special education. And like I was like, you're a teacher and you are literally advocating for child abuse in school. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, my nephew from my other sister, who is 180 degrees different from this sister, he was like, he called the school, he called Child Protective Services, and like took screenshots and reported it all. I was like, man, I love you, man. Thank you for standing up. But like, I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, and she did, I don't know what happened to change her, but I was like, you know what? I'm done. You, like when that happened already with the whole like corporal punishment thing, I was like, you have just made it perfectly clear that I will never leave my kids alone with you for any reason, if you think that's how kids should be handled. But yeah, it was like, it's disgusting that like these teachers, and like a couple of her friends are all like special needs teachers, and they're like, yeah, we would get a lot less kids coming to us for special needs education if people could discipline them better. And it's like, so you're telling me that you think the problem with autistic kids is that they're not beat by their teachers? If that would fix it, really? That's where you're going. That's okay, cool. So I muted her for a long time after that. I was like, you're never seeing my kids again, or you're never going to be alone with my kids again, and I'm gonna ignore you for a while. And then she, all the all lives matter and everything else bullshit. And finally I was like, you know what? You're done. Bye. Don't care. Anyway. Hi, Anastasia. Yeah. And that's the thing too, is trying to, like, as hard as any of this is for me, like I haven't had to experience any of it though, right? So for everything for me is like trying to protect my daughter and figure out how to help her navigate what she's going to have to navigate that I don't have any experience with. Anyway, so let's making some stuff. Yeah. I mean, what? I love you.
You're a good soul. Get back to work.
Me? You're the one listening to me instead of working. What are you talking about? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she just turned 4, so like we haven't had to experience anything yet. Like I know pretty much I think 100% of my black female friends, and probably like Hudson, you could probably chime on this. Probably most of my black male friends have said that people touch their fucking hair. Like that, just that one thing. Like, I can't even imagine going up to a stranger and trying to touch their hair. Like, I can't imagine that. Like I would never even think to do that.
It's like a personal space you just don't.
Right? Like
that seems like an unwritten social rule.
And the fact that everybody that I know says that they've had that experience.
That's disturbing.
Growing up and like through their life, like not just as kids, but even as adults. And like every time I hear somebody mention that, I'm like, I am gonna, if I see a hand reaching out for Hazel's hair, I'm just gonna I'm gonna karate chop that. I'm gonna karate chop that motherfucker.
No touching.
Yeah, like, no. Yeah, like, why would you do that? Like, and I'm like, yeah, that's Hudson said he grabs people's hands. Yeah, like I said, I feel really lucky that no one's tried to do that, and I don't know, like, there's so many things like you think about, and it's like, why hasn't that happened to me when I'm out with my daughter, right? Is it there? And I know there's a lot of things that I don't experience other people experience because I'm a white guy.
Well, but then also you're a white guy with a small.
Right. Well, so that's what I'm saying. Like, has it not happened because her parent is a white guy? Like, because Hudson says that he has to stop people from doing it, right? So do they feel like it's okay because right? Because he's also black, but like they won't do it to my daughter because I'm a white guy standing there.
This is so like it's super insidious,
right?
It's just
because and I'm also like, I've heard that since like about that happening since before she was even born. So like it's one of those things that like I'm like whenever we go out in public, I'm like, anybody gets close, you better not reach your hand out. Like I'm always looking for it. Like, and like that's one small thing, and like that I have to deal with and think about every time I go out with her.
Well, and there's also there's a fine line between the like what you're saying, like I'm constantly looking for it, right? And when you constantly look for something, are you going to find it because you're looking for it, or are you finding it because you're being vigilant? So there's this like, you see where I mean? Like there's some gray area in there. It feels like.
Yeah.
You're like what the. Like,
well, but what I'm saying is like I have to like. It's like one small microaggression that I have to look out for.
Right.
Versus and like.
The myriad.
And it's right, and it's like just that one thing is stressful for me.
Yeah.
Right. Whenever like we go out somewhere in public.
I can't imagine.
And like.
I have no experience in my lifetime or set of experiences that would ever prepare me for that kind of like constant mental abuse. Like passive aggressive mental abuse even. Because most of it's under a nice face.
Yeah, when it's poofy, that's like People just want to, I don't know. I like, that's what I'm saying. That's the other thing too, is like, I just don't get. I just don't get it. I don't understand these fucking people. It's like it's like they're a different kind, like, I don't know. It's like there's so much about like all of these arguments. It's like I don't even understand where you're coming from. Like I can't put myself in your shoes. Like it's funny, like this whole so one of the things, this goes back to 10th grade US history. The only time in high school I got an F on anything was in 10th grade US history. We had this debate project, and everybody got put in pairs and teams and was assigned a subject that we had to debate, right? And I got an F. Okay? So, ever since then I've been like, well, I'm terrible at debating, so I never debate people. And then, well, except for like these past 3 weeks, I'm like, man, I have leveled up. I've gone from like level 0 debate skills to like, I don't know what level I'm at, but I have seriously leveled up my debate skills. But even then, so the thing that my friend and I got assigned to debate was we were pro-slavery in the South.
What the fuck?
That was our assignment. We had to debate from the Confederacy side of why slavery was good and why we should have slavery. Like, and I like what I'm saying is, even today, like, I can't even put my, like, you know, that's part of like understanding people and like getting them to change their mind and like educate them is to understand their viewpoint, right? So you can get in their head and like understand why they think the way they think, why they feel the way they think, and, you know, try to change that. And like, I just, with like so much of this and like the touching hair and everything, it's like, I can't even imagine why, like, what in your head would make you think it's okay to just like randomly touch a kid's hair. It's the same thing with like people who like randomly go up and like touch pregnant women's bellies.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's the same kind of thing. Like, just
like a violation of personal space that has absolutely nothing to do with you and everything to do with them.
Right.
An entitlement. You know what I mean? Like, they feel entitled to be able to do whatever they feel they can or want to. There's no checks and balances for, I shouldn't reach out my hand and touch that woman's belly, or I shouldn't touch this child's hair because I don't know them. There's absolutely zero filter from brain to hand. Like, there's
it's all just, it's entitlement.
Yeah. It's taking what you want because you want it, not asking for it. Hey, this is heavy shit. You were supposed to be making stuff. I came in here to lighten the tone.
Okay. All right.
Less somberness, please.
So one of the other projects I'm working on. Moving on. We've been working on Ahsoka for season 7, and is one of the it's down here. So I don't know. Y'all seen the new Clone Wars, the last Clone Wars season? So she has her armor on her skirt. It's like we did the bracers already in the hand armor, and it's down here. These guys. Like that. So we did that, and then and because this is like just a plate on the hand and the thing, we did it rigid, out of rigid plastic. But like her skirt armor is basically, it's like on her skirt dress, and like, you know, she's fighting and flipping and everything, and like, and of course it's animation, so on the animation, like, it's all conforming to her body. They're not hard plates. And so we were like, well, we don't want to do all the armor all around the lower body as hard plates, because it'll be hard to work. You won't be able to sit down, because there's like a butt plate, and then like, well, there's like 3 plates on the butt, 2 hip plates, And so it's like you won't be able to sit down. If it's rigid, like it'll limit your movement because like it'll poke you if you do certain poses or whatever. So then we had the idea. We did our Wonder Woman tiaras.
I love it when you do that.
We did the Wonder Woman tiaras and oh no, I'm over here.
Where are you?
I'm just trying to be
There
more
you
in the
are.
center of the damn screen. But anyway,
You have feet.
we have these and the armbands that we made out of urethane rubber instead of silicone. And the reason we decided to make them out of this is one, because they're flexible, just like silicone.
Really good durability.
But it's cheaper than silicone. And because it's urethane rubber, you can glue it with you could super glue this. Like for the ones when we finish it, we actually super glue elastic to, or we attach elastic to foam and then just super glue it to the ends, because since it's urethane rubber, you can use pretty much any glue on it. And you can also paint it versus silicone, which you have to use silicone paints. You have to use like silicone specific adhesives to glue it to stuff. But so like with this, and we also do the same thing for like we did the Minerva chest star from Captain Marvel. But like you could literally, for the chest star, like you can literally just super glue it to the front of your costume. And so with the armor, you could glue it or stitch it or whatever, use fabric glue or whatever and just stick it to your
You could
dress.
wrap it with foam and barge it to something.
Yeah, you can barge it. You could probably we haven't tried that. You could probably barge this. You think it? Well, if you roughed it up.
Before we go and say, hey, you should do this, but
Yeah.
we've never tried to barge it.
Because even though it's flexible, it's still urethane. So like you can sand it, which you can't really. I mean, you can a little bit with silicone, but like so you could like sand it and rough up the back and stuff. But no, I don't know if you could barge it. But anyway, so these are the masters for the 3 butt plates I was talking about. We haven't done the hip plates yet, but we're gonna have. So it goes kind of like this. Let's see if I can get all 3 at once. So yeah, so it goes kind of like that. There we go. No, there we go. Yep, like that, and it hangs off her butt. But so obviously these are flat and rigid, but then we'll make molds and then we can cast them out of that, and then it will conform, and it also has some stretch too. So like, if you see, so yeah, there'll be thin plates that you attach to your dress or skirt, and then you'll still like have full mobility. And again, you can sit on it, and it's not gonna.
Soft, yeah.
It's soft. There's no this is, but it's still, because it's a cast resin. Like it has, you can do everything that's like a sharp point. That's a sharp point, but
Yeah.
no ouchies.
I like that. I like it when tiaras don't dig into my forehead.
Yeah, right. So we're working on that. Then we'll have the full set of that armor hopefully shortly here. So, what time is it anyway? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's like almost 4. We're about 15 minutes away from 4.
All right.
10 minutes, something like that.
I'll go till 4, and I'll stop for the evening, have some dinner. So,
Yeah, we gotta do stuff tonight.
Hmm?
We have stuff to do tonight.
we have stuff to do every night.
Well, it hasn't changed. We have more stuff to do.
What is this? Huh.
What are you talking about?
Oh, I don't, it's something Corey sent me.
Stop looking at social media.
I'm not. He sent me a message. It's not the same as social media. Looking at a message your friend sent you. It could have been something urgent or important.
Fair.
All right. Now that's what I was going to try. So I need to actually go over there and
Try to switch cameras.
I'm going to try the camera switch to the other table because I actually need to demold that stuff that I cast earlier. So let's see if this works. The only tricky thing is once I do this, I can't see the chat anymore or what I'm looking at. So, or do you have it open?
I'm
Okay.
watching.
I'm going to rely on you here.
Oh, God.
I'm going to switch it.
The responsibility's too much. I'm overwhelmed. Hey, it switched.
Yeah, I know. I knew the switch was going to work. I just don't know. Can you see me?
Not yet. The delay. Oh, yep. There you are.
Okay, what can you see?
I can see from your waist upwards, and the top of your head is missing.
How
like
far?
Right there.
Right there?
Well, about a little lower. A little lower. About there. Yeah.
Okay, so let's put it up a little bit so you can see my head and not accidentally get anything else in there.
That was fun.
Little lower, little lower.
A little lower.
It is marked for mature audiences, because I cuss so much, so
What?
it's fine.
Oh, well, I wasn't talking about.
What?
What were you talking about?
Huh? I'm just saying. Nothing. Just nothing.
It's a trap.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, see, this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. So, I mentioned earlier about how hot it was in here and resin kicking really fast, especially if you have fine details. So you can see. Boop. You see that?
Kinda. What are you showing us?
All the holes where there shouldn't be.
Oh, yeah. It cleared enough for like a second there to see them.
I was doing that. It can't focus thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
It's
yeah.
trying to focus on your face and not your hand. Because it face tracks.
Yep. Those are both garbage. This one has one tiny bubble, but I can fix that. So, there you go. That's why temperature is important with molding and casting.
Also humidity.
Yes, that too. But
It's been humid today, so.
Yeah. Well, specifically, I was talking earlier about like when it's too hot, it kicks faster, which makes it harder to get in molds and details, which that proves
results
my
in
points.
bubbles. No bubbles.
Oh, by the way, these are like my favorite mixing cups to use for resin and stuff. They're these really cool ones that are like, they're 100 milliliter cups. They have milliliters and ounces, but they have this like tri-corner lip on the top, and they all have like these little pour spouts. So they're a lot easier to pour into molds than a normal cup. Okay, let's see. Moment of truth. Here we go. Open her up. How like centered am I?
You are just a little off to the right.
Okay, this is so that's fine.
You're not quite center. If
wait,
you
I'm
took
off to
like
the
a
right, like I need to go more this way.
if you took like a step that direction, you'd be in the center.
I did take a step that direction.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Now you're in the center.
Okay, cool.
There's a delay on the.
Yeah.
So I'm.
Oh, you know what? I wonder if they can hear me. You don't have the audio on, right? I
No.
forgot, because now that we switched to the computer, the microphone is way the heck over there.
Do you want me to bring the microphone closer to you?
No, I'm gonna come back over there in a second. I just want to demold these two parts and test this, but. You don't need to be this gentle with demolding stuff usually, but I'm always just.
Speak louder, love.
I'm just always extra cautious. Is that better?
I hope so.
What's so funny?
Amanda is sending me.
Oh, is this unrelated to what I'm doing?
No, she's just sending me funny gifts.
That's what I'm saying. It's unrelated to what I was doing.
No, it's unrelated entirely to what you're
Okay.
doing.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm glad it's okay.
you tell me to speak louder then?
Because you can see, so while I was standing over here, it kind of gives you the little microphone gauge, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so when you were speaking, it wasn't really picking you up.
I see. The one thing I haven't tried is using because the camera has a microphone. That's like a built-in microphone. So I think I can set it for when I switch to this one to switch to the mic on the camera. So we don't have to worry about like moving the mic back and forth.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go inside. You guys can't see what I'm laughing at. I must sound like a crazy person. So.
That piece came out better than those little guys. There's one air bubble there, but that part doesn't matter. I think maybe it has. Oh man. I hate that. Man. I don't know, we might be able to fix that. We'll have to see. Alright, last one. Last one. This is the first time I had to make pieces that are hollowed out. I had to mold pieces that are hollow. So it was a new challenge, but so I had to do these holes all the way through with these brass rods and stuff because you need the silicone in the middle needs to be held in place and held rigid while the resin goes in here.
We just got a care package from our friends.
What friends?
Amanda and Corey sent us basically wedding munchies.
From what? Huh? I'm so
From
confused.
DoorDash. Yeah, they just dropped it by. DoorDash
like
did.
DoorDash?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
She got us a ton of energy drinks and Doritos.
Cool.
And Starburst.
Here we go.
And more candy. Wait, so we can only have those.
You don't get any. Those aren't for you.
This is a gift. Dude.
What was I saying earlier about entitlement? Oh, you guys got some candy you delivered from your friends. So which one is mine? Obviously, we'll let them have some, but how do you make sure you're not raising selfish people? I don't know. Trying. I mean, I know it's their kids, but still, it's like, think of something other than yourself for 5 seconds, please. This also has an air bubble that I will try to fix. Okay, I'm gonna switch back. Hopefully, see if this works. Switch. Yeah, it worked. Yeah, like, man. It is. Some days it's like, do you ever think of anyone other than yourself? And so, like, sometimes we have to resort to things like, we get, like, you know, juice boxes from the school, and, like, we have to write everybody's name on them. So it's like, you can only drink the ones with your name on it. Once you have drank all of yours, you do not get to touch anybody else's. Because otherwise, it's like fucking Mad Max. It's like, well, hey, I drank all the juice before anybody else did. Suck it. It's like, you know, so it's instead of, no matter how many times we say, like, you know, you're not the only person drinking juice, you need to think of everybody else, we have to resort to, okay, you know what? Here's a name on it. If you drink one that doesn't have your name on it, you get a consequence. Really hate that, but I already knew all that stuff was coming. Don't tell her, though. I was in on it.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Because we love you.
I have such wonderful people in my life. I'm so grateful for each and every one of them.
All right, 4 more minutes, and I'm going to call it for today. No, maybe I'll come back later tonight when I do more work, but we'll see. Definitely be back tomorrow, though, for some time during the day. I don't know if I can salvage this piece. Man, that is always the worst, when it's so close to being perfect and there's one thing and it's not salvageable, and blah. So, a trick, I think a lot of people have probably seen the trick of using like baby powder and super glue to fill like holes and stuff in resin kits. But of course, that doesn't work on a cold cast, because then you would have a spot that is white in the middle of something that's supposed to look like metal. But what you can do is the exact same trick with the aluminum powder. You can, there's the same aluminum powder there on this little wax sheet of paper that we use for cold casting. So good old CA glue. Just put a drop on the wax paper. Use a little stirring stick. Scoop this over here. So you just put a little bit of the powder, mix it into the super glue, and then put it on your thing where you need to fill the hole. your best friend. Man, I don't like these cameras at all. Insta-set, or kicker as we like to call it. So I put my stuff in there and I'm going to just hit that, and that will pretty much instant cure that. So I do that in small layers and kind of build up a little bit at a time, but you can see maybe, so there's the little hole there, right there. So it was worse a second ago. That's about half full, half filled with that. So I'll do a little bit more super glue, and I just keep doing that. A little bit of super glue with powder, put a layer on, and then let it sit, and then it finishes just like, it's actually a little bit harder than the plastic, but I mean, it's almost finishes just like as if it were like aluminum, which thankfully, that's why we use aluminum for so much stuff, is a pretty easy to work with as far as metal goes. You can sand it, you can cut it all relatively easily. That's why the only actual metal work I've done on any props or anything has all been with aluminum, just because it's, one, it's relatively inexpensive, and two, it is easier to work with than with, like, don't even try to do anything with like steel or something. I mean, unless you're into metalworking and things, I guess, but I am not a metal worker. Not yet, anyway, by any stretch of the imagination. Man, speaking of metalwork and kids with unrealistic expectations, our middle son, for a long time, he said that when he grew up, he wanted to be a YouTuber. Because, you know, he spends half his day watching YouTube. And then, and then he had a drama class that he got assigned because he registered late because of moving up here to Seattle. So he got assigned to a drama class, which he hated. And we're like, you know, being a successful YouTuber, a huge part of that is performing for your audience. Like, nobody is going to pay you a lot of money to just sit there and play a game and not perform for the audience. And apparently he finally got it, because he changed his mind and decided that he no longer wanted to be a YouTuber and he wanted to be a blacksmith. Cool. And so we said, you know that being a blacksmith is a pretty difficult job. It's a lot of physical, hard work. And, you know, we're telling this to a kid who, like, has to walk down the block and is like, I'm tired, my feet hurt, I can't do this. And, like, never wants to do anything physical. And he says, well, yeah, but how hard is swinging a hammer? Oh, child. So I said, okay, well, if you want to be a blacksmith, cool. I will help you with that goal of becoming a blacksmith. So here's what we're going to do. You need to build up your endurance, because you need to do manual labor for long periods of time in a very hot environment. So we're going to start you on a blacksmith workout routine. And so, like, for a week he did, like, and it was pretty easy stuff. Like, it was stuff that, like, his school had sent us for them to do, like, during quarantine. So it was like it was like a 10 different things, and he did it for like a week. He's like, oh yeah, I'm getting really good at this stuff. And it was like, you know, do 10 push-ups, do 10 sit-ups. It was pretty easy stuff. So I was like, okay. I was like, well, it's time for your first, like, actual blacksmith challenge. So I got one of our hammers, and I got I had like a scrap piece of sheet metal from, I think it was laying around here somewhere. I saw it. I can't remember where I saw it. Yeah. Anyway, had a scrap piece of sheet metal that was about this big, about that wide, from some duct work I did a while ago. And I said, okay, so this is what you're going to do. You have to fold it in half, hammer it, fold it in half, hammer it, fold it in half, hammer it, until it's as wide. Because one of the things he wants to make is a katana. He's a huge anime fan. So he's like, I want to make a katana. That's why I want to be a blacksmith. That's the reality of it. So, okay, you have to fold this and hammer it, fold it and hammer it, fold it and hammer it until it is the width of a blade, and it has a nice flat edge. It doesn't have to be sharp, but it has to be flat so that you could sharpen it if it were an actual blade. And so he went out there in the front yard on the porch, and he hammered on that thing for a good hour. Like, I was surprised. He actually did it. He hammered on it for like an hour. It was pretty. He got all the folds in. It wasn't that flat on the edge, but like for a first try at like hammering out something, it's pretty good. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, so the next step is going to be you're going to have to go in and do a finer job along the edges, and then once you do that, then we'll sand it, and we'll see if we can get any sharpness out of the edge, just to see. And he never picked it up again. He did that one time, 1 hour, and that was enough blacksmithing for him. So then, I mentioned he loves anime, right? So then, yesterday, he comes to us. He's like, yeah, so I've decided, since I don't want to be a blacksmith anymore, I figured out what I really want to do. I want to be a voice actor, because I want to do like voice acting for anime and stuff. And I said, the second word in voice acting is acting, right? I was like, like your drama class, the thing that you hated and didn't like at all. I was like, voice acting is harder than regular acting because you don't even get to use your body or your face. It's all just your voice. And so you would need a lot of training and acting experience to be able to be a voice actor. Oh, yeah. I don't like that. So we're back to figuring out what he wants to do. Which is fine. He doesn't need to know. It just cracks me up that he comes up with these ideas of what he wants to do and his perception of what that job actually is that are so divorced from reality. All right. So, needs a little bit more work, but you can see, maybe. Don't focus on my face. Oh, if I cover my face, maybe. Focus on this. Focus on the thing closest to the camera. I'm going to hide my face completely. Focus. Oh, gosh, I hate these cameras. It helps if I can actually orient it properly. Well, anyway, that's where that hole was that I... Right there. And it's mostly gone now. I have to do a little bit more work. But yeah, so that's how you fill the holes on a cold cast. Very similar to a regular one, just with the metal powder. And it is 4:07, so I'm going to stop this for today and go eat some food because I can't remember when I ate anything today. I think I had breakfast, but yeah, I need to take care of that. Self-care is important. I will be back tomorrow. Hope you all have a nice evening. And the mouse went to sleep, so I can't hit stop, and that was really bad timing. And there we go. Bye.